that's actually something that you're deeply fearing in yourself. You kind of believe that that's at least a little true, like that you don't belong there or you're not good enough. And so often our fears about what other people will think are really just a reflection of the negative opinion we have about ourselves. Hey there, and welcome back to the Confident Dancer YouTube channel. My name is Kirsten. Today I'm going to be addressing 6 tips on how to stop caring too much what other people think and how to stop fearing judgment so much. This is just so crippling to so many dancers. It can be so distracting, having constant thoughts like, oh my gosh, did they see that? What do they think of me? Do they like me? Do they think I belong here? Blah, blah, blah. I hear it all the time from the dancers I work with as a coach. I know how distracting and discouraging and frustrating it can be. It can harm your sense of mental and emotional well-being to constantly be consumed with fearing other people's judgment and thinking, oh, I hope they think highly of me, or I hope they don't judge me. I know it can affect our well-being, and it can obviously affect our performance because it's incredibly distracting to focus on all that instead of on yourself. So in this video, I'm going to give you 6 tips on how to start focusing more on yourself, how to put your mind in a more constructive place to avoid your mind going in that direction. Tip number 1 is something I've been putting into practice in my own life recently. It's been really, really helpful. It is to practice the art of allowance. Basically, you are making the conscious choice to say, I am going to allow someone else to have the thoughts that they're going to have and the feelings that they are going to have in this moment, because that is not my responsibility. And the truth is, it's not. Hey, I understand it's a gray area in dance, especially if you are rehearsing something and the teacher or choreographer or director is asking you to do certain things. It would behoove you to care appropriately what they think and to take responsibility for doing what you can to follow their instructions. However, there's a line. There is an aspect where it is your responsibility to do what you can, to do what you're being asked of, but it's not your responsibility to 100% like be in control of what someone else thinks about you. That is their responsibility, because I think we all know deep down that no matter what we do, someone else is still going to have whatever thoughts they're going to have. And that's not a bad thing. So let's stop treating it like it's such a bad thing. It is so empowering to make the choice to say, I'm going to allow you to think what you're going to think. And at the same time, I'm going to allow myself to think and feel what I'm going to think and feel, because I am only responsible for me, not you. So it is a choice that you can just put into practice, and you'll become more and more comfortable at doing it. It will become more and more natural to you with time. And I promise it can really, really be very empowering and helpful. It's not just about like letting people like do mean or rude things. There's a line there, but it's more about saying, okay, what am I responsible for? What am I not responsible for? Am I giving other people the dignity and the freedom to think what they're going to think? Because that is their right. Let's remember that. That is their right. And it's also your right to think and feel what you're going to think and feel on the inside. So remember that. Practice allowance. It is a form of a boundary that's actually very healthy. So practice it. I really do believe you will notice more and more benefit to it over time. Tip number 2 is to practice awareness of your own limiting beliefs and take responsibility for them. And when I say limiting beliefs, I also mean like your own insecurities, the negative beliefs you have about yourself. And the reason why I say this is because so often we are more aware of our fear of what someone will think of us than what we actually think about ourselves. It's actually really easy and pretty normal for us as dancers to be like, oh, I hope that they don't think that I am a total imposter and that I don't belong here. But meanwhile, that's actually something that you're deeply fearing in yourself. You kind of believe that that's at least a little true, like that you don't belong there or you're not good enough. And so often our fears about what other people will think are really just a reflection of the negative opinion we have about ourselves. So this point is really about self-reflecting and saying, okay, what negative opinions and beliefs do I have about myself that I am really just projecting onto other people, that I'm really just afraid someone else will validate the negative opinion I already have about myself. A negative belief about yourself is kind of like having an open wound. Let's say you have an open scratch on your arm and it's not healed, and someone throws salt on your arm. If you have an open wound, that's gonna hurt. If your arm is all healed and the skin is all good, no wounds, someone would just throw salt on your arm and you'd be like, gross, why did you do that? That's kind of the same. It's a great metaphor to describe what happens whenever other people have their own thoughts and opinions about us. If you have an empowering belief system about yourself and a healthy sense of your identity and your self-worth, it's not like you're completely invincible to feeling hurt, but you'll be able to maybe have a thought like, oh, what if that person judged me? And just kind of more easily say, well, okay, what if they judge me? I'm here, this is where I'm at in my process, I'm doing what I can for today, I'm a human being, okay. It's not going to affect you so deeply because you don't have those metaphorical open wounds emotionally that other people's opinions could pour more salt into, so to speak. And that's where mindset work is so important. And it's a big reason why I do what I do with dancers, to help them actually uncover, what do you believe about yourself? What's going on in the deeper layers of your mind that is creating these insecurities and these fears and these distracting thoughts? And what do we need to do to change your belief system and your sense of self? Establish healthy confidence and self-worth so you can actually feel and dance your best consistently. That's why I do what I do as a mindset coach. Hey there, I hope you're really enjoying this video, but I just need to ask you something really quick. Is self-doubt really just sucking the joy out of dancing for you? Is being in your head and being self-critical and not feeling good enough, like even if you look fine on the outside and you know you're just plowing along, is that affecting your ability to perform and enjoy dance while you're at it? If those mental struggles sound familiar, or others like performance anxiety, perfectionism, comparing yourself to other dancers, any of those things, if those are impacting your ability to perform your best and feel your best consistently, then you don't have to keep struggling. I'm so passionate about this, and I want to talk to you about the Confident Dancer Coaching Program. This is a coaching program that focuses on the mental side of dance, where you and I can work together individually to truly help you to build the belief in yourself, let go of all the negative programming in your mind that's impacting your ability to perform in your experience, and help you truly build the confidence to thrive as a dancer and fulfill your personal potential. If that's something that you want, you can click the link in my description box to visit kirstenkemp.com, learn more about the Confident Dancer Coaching Program, what it includes, how it works, read incredible testimonials from past clients who've worked with me, and schedule a free 30-minute consultation where you and I can connect, talk about your goals and challenges, absolutely no strings attached, and just see if working together would be a great fit for you and your goals. If that's something you're interested in, definitely take advantage of that free consultation. Give yourself a chance to truly thrive as a dancer, and I hope to talk to you soon. And that is all I have to say. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Let's move on with it. Point number 3 is to remember that visibility is an opportunity for vulnerability and owning where you're at. So instead of focusing so much on the thoughts like, oh my gosh, what do people think of me? Blah, blah, blah. Instead, you can notice that you're feeling vulnerable. And that's actually not a bad thing. So instead of focusing on what thoughts you're projecting onto other people, because really unless they tell you, you truly don't know what they're actually thinking. It's very important to not practice mind reading as a rule. So instead of focusing so much on what might they be thinking, just notice, maybe I feel vulnerable right now. Maybe I feel insecure right now, but you could reframe that perhaps if it feels true to you as vulnerability, which is great. Then you can take it as an opportunity to still show up vulnerably and say, you know what, I'm gonna own that even though I feel a little sensitive right now, I'm still gonna go out there and let myself be seen. And that's actually an act of courage. So that's awesome. See how this can really be reframed? And it can also be an opportunity, like I said, to truly own where you're at in your process. So many of us are feeling insecure and worried about what other people think because we think where we're at in our progress is a problem. We think we should be better by now. We think we should look different than we do right now or dance differently than we dance. But when you own that where you're at is where you're at, that's not necessarily a bad thing at all, and that you're totally fine actually, that will make it so much easier to practice vulnerability and say, you know what, I'm still gonna dance the way I'm going to dance today and really focus on me instead of focusing on what other people might think about me. Essentially, this point really gives the worry or just this uncomfortable experience a positive purpose that you can find satisfaction in really engaging with. Point number 4, I love this one. It is, don't abandon yourself for someone else's opinion, okay? You are worth more than that. You are more valuable than that. What I mean by abandoning yourself is so often we will just leave ourselves in the dust emotionally, not caring what we have to do, how many backflips we have to do to make someone else like us. But that is an act of really abandoning yourself, leaving yourself behind, not actually being on your own team. And of course, sometimes it can be an act of being on your own team to do what you need to do to have a good working relationship with a teacher or director. So there's nuance here, don't get me wrong, but there is just an aspect to constantly caring what everybody thinks, like your classmates, or caring too much about what your teachers think or what the audience thinks, that you're really putting the people who are watching you on a pedestal and putting yourself way down here, and having this mindset where it's like, I need to be somebody or look a certain way to make them happy. But remember, you're all equitable in this situation. You're all valuable as people. I want to remind you that this can really be an opportunity to notice the fears about what other people think and say, hold on, how can I be on my own team right now? Instead of abandoning yourself to be whatever you need to be as critical to yourself as you need to be, to work harder than to make someone else like you. Meanwhile, you don't even like yourself. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, tip number 5 is like really getting real. It is sometimes people's comments or judgments actually do have some truth to them, and it could be an opportunity to really kind of be raw and take feedback even when it hurts. And you don't face the truth without letting it destroy you. It's actually a great opportunity to kind of like take the good, take the truth, take what is constructive, and allow yourself to embrace that and take it without embracing and internalizing shame about it. You know, I've had YouTube comments where people say something in a really, really mean way, but they actually have truth to their piece of feedback, and it's maybe something someone who's trying to be really nice to me wouldn't say. Like, for example, people have said so many times in really, really rude ways that my intros are too long, so I've tried to make them shorter because I'm like, you know what, this hater has a point. And you know, even though they really could have been a lot nicer about how they said that, I can see that there is something beneficial in this that I can use. So I'm not going to embrace the shame or the mean nature or the tone that I was picking up from that comment, but I'm going to say, you know what, thank you. This is a tough pill to swallow, but there is something in this for me. So I'm going to practice not tossing out the baby with the bathwater. I'm going to take it and use it as an opportunity to be able to face the truth sometimes, even when it hurts, without taking on shame. That's a good practice. That it's just something that you have to get practiced at and used to. So sometimes it's actually helpful. The last point here is to ask yourself, what can someone else's thoughts really do to me? Okay, let's say if someone just thinks a thought and they don't say anything, it can't really do anything to you unless you let it do something to you. Let's say someone does say something that's kind of hurtful or judgmental out loud. It's kind of similar. It's really understandable if that creates an emotional reaction for you and it feels hurtful, but remember that it really has as much power over you as you let it have power over you. Ultimately, you know, we're all going to have our initial reaction, but then you get to choose your response going forward. So ask yourself, what can someone else's thoughts really do to me in this moment? Is it as much as I'm telling myself it is, or will it be as bad truly as my mind is telling me it will be? So dancers, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comments. Let me know what point really stood out to you the most or what you found to be helpful from it. I would love to hear from you, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss next week's video. I'll see you then. Bye.